Today we're taking a look at these NFL matches, which are happening on Sunday, September 25, 2022, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. By becoming a member of the High Stakes Patreon, you will have access to our best team picks, total picks, parlay picks and much more. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting predictions that ends up costing you a lot of time and money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Going back to our video, we will give you 2 betting picks for each game, a team pick and a total pick based on facts and detailed explanation. So make sure to watch our videos till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Las Vegas Raiders vs Tennessee Titans. Both teams have started off in the worst possible way as they entered the game with 0-2 records. The Raiders hung in against the Chargers despite 3 interceptions by Carr before blowing a 20-0 halftime lead as their game plan disintegrated in the second half against the Cardinals. Meanwhile, you have the Titans, who were obliterated by the Bills on Monday Night Football, and they now have a short week to deal with, in addition to a slew of injuries on both sides of the ball. Tennessee has some major issues, especially in the secondary, and that should lead to some big numbers for the Raiders. Give the points and take Las Vegas as they earn the win on the road. Our team pick is Las Vegas Raiders minus 2.5 points. Both of these offenses have not been doing well throughout the early stages of the regular season, as Las Vegas is averaging 21 points, while Tennessee is scoring 13.5 points per game thus far. Neither team has been running the football well as a team either, as the Raiders are averaging 72 rushing yards per game, while the Titans are averaging 86.5 rushing yards per game. Our total pick is under 45.5 points. Philadelphia Eagles vs Washington Commanders. The Eagles are looking great through 2 games, while the same can't be said for the Commanders. Philly scored 38 points against the Lions in Week 1, while the Lions easily beat the Commanders by 9 points last week. Jalen Hurts has already proved he is going to be much better than last season. He connected on 83.9% of his passes against the Vikings. The Commanders' defense has been exploited. They rank 20th against the pass, and Hurts along with Miles Sanders will shine against a rush defense that stands 28th. Furthermore, the Commanders' offense has been productive, but this will be the best defense they have seen so far. Wentz is putting up big numbers but has already tossed 3 interceptions. Philly has a great secondary, and Darius Big Play Slay will do a good job covering Terry McLaurin. Slay just shut down the Vikings' top W.R. Jefferson last week. Our team pick is Philadelphia Eagles minus 6.5 points. The last few years, Philadelphia has been known for its tough defense, but this season after 2 games, it's the offense that is carrying the load. The Eagles are 5th in overall offense, averaging 470.5 yards per game, including 189.5 yards rushing and 281.0 yards per game passing. Philadelphia averages 6.7 yards per play and 5.2 yards per carry. Quarterback Jalen Hurts has 576 yards passing with 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Miles Sanders has 176 yards rushing to lead Philadelphia and has scored 1 touchdown. A.J. Brown has 16 receptions for 224 yards to lead all Philadelphia receivers. After 2 games of the regular season, Washington is 29th in points allowed at 29.0 points per game. The Commanders are 27th in overall defense, allowing an average of 404.0 yards per game, which includes 157.0 yards rushing and 247.0 yards passing per game. Washington is allowing an average of 7.5 yards per carry and 6.6 yards per play. Safety Derek Forrest and linebacker Cole Holcomb are the leaders in tackles with 15 each. Tackle Darren Payne is the leader in quarterback sacks with 2.0, and Forrest has Washington's only interception. Both Philadelphia and Washington were expected to have very strong defenses, but both have started slower than usual. The Eagles are allowing an average of 21.0 points per game, and Washington is allowing an average of 29.0 points per game. Philadelphia is 4th in scoring, averaging 31.0 points per game, and Washington is 8th, averaging 27.5 points per game. The total has finished over in 5 of Philadelphia's last 7 games overall. Our total pick is over 50 points. Chicago Bears vs Houston Texans. For the Texans, it has been a rough few years navigating being one of the league's worst teams, but things could be turning around. They were able to tie the Colts in Week 1, which was a massive confidence builder for this group. While they lost last week to Denver, they kept it within one score, which shows that this group has the talent to compete, and this week could be when they see that first win. Going to Chicago is never easy to ask of a group, though with the Bears looking lucky to make it to .500 on the season, as well as somewhat rattled after losing to the Packers last week, the Texans will like their chances to spring the upset. One issue for Houston is their inability to get key players healthy. With one of the longest injury lists in the league, they've already ruled out 9 players for Sunday, including some key pieces on the defensive line. The most notable name is Davis Mills, though with the quarterback trending towards probable, that's huge news for their outlook on Sunday's game. After winning the season opener in front of the Chicago faithful, the Bears turned to Soldier Field to make a difference in this one. Heading to Green Bay last week probably saw Chicago play better than the scoreline might show, though still a loss nonetheless. Not much was expected of Chicago coming into the season, especially with a new coach at the helm, but the team has appeared to bond together well. They remain inexperienced, but considering what's on the other sideline on Sunday, there's still a lot to like when it comes to their chances. The Bears also have a few injuries to worry about as well as they head into the weekend. They are already without 4 players, all on the offensive line, with a handful of others questionable. With a lack of depth at key offensive positions, it's a difficult position to be in as they head into the weekend. On the defensive front, Roquan Smith, hip, is questionable as well and could be a key absence. As mentioned earlier, Mills has been the leader for this group on the offensive side over the last few seasons, and having him trending towards probable is good news. The lack of a consistent running game remains a massive concern for this group going forward though. Their inability to control the clock will continue to haunt them, and with limited playmakers, taking care of the ball is a must as well. Defensively, this group has done well so far. In week 1, they were able to keep Jonathan Taylor in check, while allowing only 16 points to a Russell Wilson-led offense isn't too shabby either. The key on Sunday will be whether they can contain Fields in the pocket and not let him hurt Houston with his legs. If they can force the Bears into throwing more than usual, it could get uncomfortable fast, which will also allow Houston to take Chicago's fans out of it early too. Houston showed in week 1 that their offense is going to surprise many opponents this season, and with how well Davis Mills has been playing and his likely inclusion in the lineup, confidence will be high for the offense. The Bears looked good themselves in week 1, but there's growing concern that the poor weather evened the playing field more than might have been originally thought. They struggled to stop the Packers last week, and while the Texans are a far cry from being Green Bay, the lack of playmakers on offense for the Bears will come back to haunt them in this one. Additionally, according to Covers.com, the Texans are 5-1 at TS in their last 6 games overall, as well as sitting at 4-1 at TS in the last 5 meetings between the two teams. Texans, plus 2.5. The Bears are 1-1 overall and against the spread after a 27-10 loss at Green Bay. The Packers were favored by 10.5 points. Chicago knocked off San Francisco, 19-10, at home in week 1 as 6.5-point underdogs. Both games were under the totals of 42 and 38.5, respectively. The records may be the same, but Houston and Chicago have struggled in different areas. The Texans' ground game has been lacking, while the Bears have done little through the air. Houston has rushed for just 157 yards total, 77 in week 1 and 80 in week 2, while Chicago has only thrown for 153 yards. The Bears were particularly bad in week 2, with a meager 48 yards passing, but did run for 180 after only gaining 99 against the 49ers. Our total pick is under 40.5 points.